Hi everybody, I'm Niharika. I am a design researcher at Walmart currently. I'm originally from India, from Delhi, the capital. And let me talk a little bit about my journey and how I came to be here. Let me share my screen. So, pretty much, I was an artist who turned into a designer, to a strategist. And I started with my bachelor's in communication design from the Bangalore, which really focused on understanding, how can we really connect a brand to a customer and how to really launch a brand and like how to make it connected to the customer. So I started with that, and then I moved to England on a scholarship to study cultural design and game design, and from there I really understood that how cultures really impact customer choices and customer preferences about a product or a service that they're using. And then from there I moved into advertising. I worked in advertising for 5 years. I worked with companies like Ogilvy and Mather, J. Walter Thompson, Publicis, and Groupam, working with various clients like PepsiCo, Nestle, McKinsey, really helping them, extend their product lines, come up with the new product lines, and also like helping them rebrand and come up with new innovative ideas. So while I was working in advertising itself, I felt like, it was very, very important to understand what the customer really wants and what are their preferences. And from there, I sort of moved on to um, New York to Parsons, where I studied strategic design and management, which really focused on. I did my master's in strategic design management, which really focused on entrepreneurship, business development, innovation, and really trying to understand what are our customer needs and how do we innovate in the best possible fashion in order to deliver success. So my overarching journey was from an artist to a designer to a strategist, which really involved a lot of collaboration, problem solving, facilitation, mentorships, being a psychologist at times, and even being a design researcher, of course. So from Parsons, I moved to ThoughtWorks, which is an ID consulting where I worked in marketing and product innovation. And then I moved to Wavical, which was a data consulting, focusing on really helping them build a new innovation department, which focused on design thinking, product innovation, and digital disruption in totality. From there, currently I'm in Walmart working as a design researcher, as I mentioned earlier. And I think one thing throughout my journey, as I worked through various clients and I worked for like many companies and different interesting industries, I realized that for me, what is strategy? When people ask me what really strategy is, for me, it's pretty much going from point A to B. And when we say point A to B, it's moving from here to there, pretty much, right? You're like chasing your goal. But at the same time, while you're chasing your goal, I feel it's very important that throughout that journey, we are really touching upon the users and connecting with the users at all stages of the journey to refine the offering, to really understand that, okay, what are my user needs and their pain points? What do they really want? Am I delivering what they really want? And am I really connecting with them and empathizing with them? I think while we are putting together that strategy, that is very important to help us succeed. And in general, if you ask me in one word, strategy for me is design thinking. And now you must be wondering, what is design thinking? Well, design thinking is a mindset and a strategy, a methodology, a process to solve complex problems, to also like help you create better user experiences, to help you innovate, to help you disrupt, to help you pretty much innovate. I would say in one word, if it has to be, like innovation. When you talk about design thinking, it equals to innovation in my head. It's a mindset. Things that design thinking pretty much focuses on is understanding the problem, really trying to understand what are you solving for, and then failing as fast as possible and not really waiting for the entire product to complete end to end. So, not going through a waterfall methodology and rather going through an agile methodology where you fail fast, prototype, test, learn, build, and not like really depend on like really creating the entire product, then testing it out, and then failing. That's a longer process, right? And then again, rigorous testing, continuous testing, really understand your customer, what do they really need, and having that continuous process of build, test, and learn, and not really going through a linear process where you just go through like a waterfall methodology where you're just building, 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 spending like 20, probably like 20 months, 6 months, 10 months, and not leading to anything, right? So, like, it's very important to prototype quickly and then test it and then learn and then iterate. One framework that I have followed pretty much, it's an industry standard as well, but this is what I have been following in my practice, particularly the design thinking framework of the double diamond process is what we call it. So this is one framework that I follow whenever I'm looking into solving any problem. So pretty much, as you can see, there are two diamonds here, and each diamond has two halves in it, right? So we start with discovering. So the first diamond really focuses on designing the right thing. So it really focuses on understanding the problem. That are we really catering to the right problem? Is it really the right problem? And the second diamond really focuses on once we have decided, well, yeah, this I think this is the right problem that we're solving for, and I feel confident that this is the problem, then it's all about solving for it. How can we ideate, how can we solve, and how can we produce the best possible solution? So within the first diamond, the first half focuses on the research, which is very important, where you really like focus on understanding who is my customer, what do they want, what really the problem is, what am I really trying to solve for, rather than jumping into solutions, and then really, really trying to empathize with the customer and understanding diverging. That's where we don't really like try to box ourselves, but we really try to diverge and understand, okay, what does my customer want? What is the real problem? And what am I really solving for? Am I solving for the right thing? If somebody's told me this is a brief, is it really the right problem? Do you think so? So, really trying to focus on that and diverging as much as you can. And then the next phase is about defining, where once you've discovered and you have a lot of data, you start defining, you start thinking about, okay, well, now I've talked to a lot of people, I've done a lot of research, I feel like these could be my potential opportunity areas. These could be some things that I really want to focus on. Probably these are some insights that my business stakeholders would really, really resonate with, right? So it's all about like converging with your goals and with your particular vision that you have as a company or as a team, and then trying to synthesize and understanding, okay, what are those different opportunity areas that we can leverage and start ideating upon. So once you've converged that, the next phase is all about developing. Developing is all about ideation. And ideation is pretty very, it's the name itself suggests, it's all about like going out of the box, not boxing yourself, no idea is a bad idea, just going broad, diverging and expanding your horizons, and really being open-minded and thinking as much as you can. Really trying to understand, okay, what are those different ideas that I can think of? And then finally you deliver by prototyping, testing, and iterating, and just converging, and pretty much like delivering towards the end that, okay, this is the final product that we have built based on our tests and iterations and prototypes. So we pretty much follow this double diamond process while we're following the design thinking methodology. Some principles that I personally rely upon while I am solving for any problem is like, first of all, live the problem to solve. So I always believe that it's very, very important to live the problem before you even start solving it. Usually, in my experience of 8 years, I have seen a lot of people jumping directly into the solutioning phase and trying to solve the problem without even questioning why is it a problem. So when somebody comes up with a brief to you, or somebody comes up that, hey, this is what we're trying to solve for, my first reaction would be, why is it a problem? Right? My first reaction would be to understand, why is this even a problem? Why is this happening? Do we really need to solve for it? Or is there some deep rooted cause underlying beneath it that we are missing out on? So, really, the first thing I feel is for everybody, just really try to focus on the problem than the solution. Try to live it, try to understand what is it really. And the second thing is customer is a king. I feel like today, any strategy we build, any roadmap we are putting together, any plan, at the end of the day, we all want some kind of an ROI out of it, right? We build a plan to either get an increase in sales or to sell something or to get some business investment or a buy-in or partnership or merger and acquisition or something. But like at the end of the day, it's all about selling a certain skill set or a service or a product to someone. It could be B2B, it could be B2C, to a business or a customer. But at the end of the day, we all are selling it to somebody. And that somebody is a customer. And that customer is a king. So in today's world, customer is the king. It's very, very important to understand whenever we are strategizing. I personally feel it's very important to understand what does my customer want? What are their needs? What are their, you know, needs, their pain points, their wants, their aspirations, their goals in life. Once you understand that, it's very, very easy to understand how to position your product into their lives or how to innovate or create something new that could actually impact or help them in their lives. And at the same time, I would also like to say that I strongly believe that it's very important to do a lot of ethnography research, which basically means that customer does not know what they want. So there's one thing that they say that they want, and there's another thing that they don't even realize that they want. So it's also very important to just observe and listen and just like shadow them and understand their lifestyle in order to understand, in order to see that notice and see nuances that probably even they are not observing, right? Things that they might not even know are their needs, but actually are their needs. And tapping into those needs and aspirations and wants can become a great opportunity for a company or an individual to innovate upon. So I feel like really, really resonating with the customer and empathizing with the customer is important. And the third thing is empathize with the culture. So I feel culture plays a very important role, especially in a world where the world is so small and we're bringing global products. We are making global products. We are bringing alive global services. It's very important to focus towards each and every culture and not just focus on local nuances in order to produce something. So it's important that you think about culture as well and empathize with customers and their culture and like what environment is that product going to live in, right? If there are like 10 different environments, it's important to take care of those 10 different environments in order to deliver success for the launch of the product, I would say. And the fourth thing is high impact, think in systems. In my experience, I've seen often like there are a lot of people who start thinking in silos or companies who believe in silos who start, they don't believe in it. I mean, I wouldn't say they believe in it, but it's mostly like they are just like they're teams who are thinking in silos. But while I think you're putting you're bringing a service to life or you're bringing a product to life, it's very, very important to think in systems, to think about the entire ecosystem that is actually bringing your service to life. So I think thinking in systems is also very important, and not thinking in silos is very important towards the growth and success of anything that you're innovating or building, bringing to life. The last thing I would say is like design thinking gives you a futuristic lens to your business. So I feel like in general, be it any industry, I've worked in advertising, design, consulting, now I'm in product. So I think be it any industry, one common thing that I have noticed in my career so far is like it's very important to connect those dots. And I have personally been that connector in my career throughout my jobs, who's really helped business connect those dots and see the entire picture holistically rather than thinking out in silos like the business usually tends to do. So on a future lens, if you are as a company, if you're trying to disrupt, if you're trying to innovate, if you're trying to think futuristic, it's very important to connect those dots, have those connectors in your business, and practice those design thinking philosophies in order to actually bring something to life which is fruitful and meaningful to your customer. So I think in in a business environment, design thinking would add a lot and lot of like value when it comes to like putting together like a strategic roadmap, a strategic approach, a plan for what's next. It's very important. And definitely, I feel like having those co creative workshops, having collaborative practices are very, very important because at times, even if we, in my, actually, I would give you an example. In my tenure of 8 years, I have noticed that there were times when everybody was functioning in a very traditional approach. And then when I walked into the room, I realized that, well, everybody is very uptight, everybody is thinking very traditionally, and everybody's on an Excel sheet. How is it going to really like help people like get out of the box and think out of the box? How do we do that? So I think like conducting those co-creative workshops, having those design thinking workshops, and having these collaborative sessions and having some playfulness in the business environment is very important because that really, really helps all these stakeholders, everybody, like your business stakeholders, your partners, your finance guys, everybody, it really helps them think out of the box, helps them collaborate, helps you like even deal with power dynamics, and helps you deliver success. And one way of measuring that is even like, conducting service towards the end of your workshops or towards the end of your sessions, or even having like voice of customers to just like, get some feedback. Like, how did you feel? What did you feel that it brought to the table? And all those kind of things. So I feel in general, design thinking is a very, very important aspect whenever you're trying to strategize or solve any complicated problem. So that's my 2 cents on strategy and solving complicated problems. So I think we are all in a VUCA world, and when we're all trying to solve these wicked problems, it's always good to have a, a hint of creativity and a tinge of playfulness within your uh, practice. And that's about it. Thank you. And in case if you want to like reach out to me or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn or on my email, and I'll be happy to respond. Thank you so much.